24 hours a day. UBM Praise Chicago, a service of the UBM Networks.
The following show is paid programming and does not necessarily express the views and opinions of Urban Broadcast Media and its subsidiaries.
Thank you for listening to UBM Praise.
Let's go. Sir Walter Jones. Who is it? Sir Walter Jones. What's his name? Sir Walter Jones. Whose show is this? Sir Walter Jones. Who is it? Sir Walter Jones. Say it again. Sir Walter Jones. Who you with? Sir Walter Jones. One more again. Sir Walter Jones.
The Sir Walter Jones Show. Co-host Alvin Carter. We are a Christian talk show in where we tackle all the hot topics in a believer's walk.
Sir Walter Jones. Who is it? Sir Walter Jones. What's his name?
The Word of God is powerful, often misunderstood, but with proper study, you can gain accurate application of this potent source of life here on the Sir Walter Jones Show.
How are you all saying, yeah? Speak, Lord. Speak to me. Oh, speak, Lord. Just speak.
Welcome to the Sir Walter Jones Show. I am he. It is Thursday. Theology Thursday. We sit around the mic and we talk about the Bible, the Bible. Man, that's the book for me. It is so exciting to be able to sit with the men of God and this little circle here to talk about what thus said the Lord. But I want to interrupt the studies just quickly because we usually do our news around 5 o'clock p.m. Thank you to Marilyn Keeter for the wonderful information that she gives us, things that is happening around the city and throughout the country, if not the world. But today, I'm so glad I walked into the studio and I saw a different of Chicago. All right, he's one of the men who, well, he don't just do a lot of talk. You see him doing things. And I was watching the news. Thank you, Dion. I was watching the news yesterday. I think it was yesterday, the day before. And I'm watching this and seeing the events unfolding where this man was in the front lawn, he was watering his lawn, and the boy just come up on him on the bicycle, demanding his wallet. The man wouldn't give up his wallet, and he shot him in the stomach. Okay? And I'm saying to myself, how could this happen? You know, right there, open, just broad daylight. You know, just know these young men have no affection whatsoever to life, and a senior like that. So I want to get an opportunity to just take a few minutes because our guests have to leave. The activist, the man who you see around the city who is getting the message out because many of us are silent. Andrew Holmes, I believe his name is. You see him on TV quite a bit. He's one of the rare men of God that we see out there doing stuff. All right? Grab that mic, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Blessed. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. It's so good to see you, and I'm so glad. And Facebook Live is chiming in. I see you guys, and so be sure, y'all, first of all, can you hit the share button, Facebook Live? Do me a huge favor. Right now, all of you on Facebook Live, hit the share button and share this and tag as many friends as you can right now as possible. And many of you I see here are Chicago people, all right? Please do that so that we can get the message out. Dr. Holmes, what's going on, man? What's the message?
Well, first and foremost, we praise the Lord for, healing us and putting his holy hands over us. And thinking that he had his holy hands over that senior the other day because he could have eventually lost his life, made his transition on the mistakes that our youth, not only our youth, but our adults are making today in life with this gun violence.
Yes, absolutely. That is so true. And now, I think I saw you on the news and you were talking about how and you had to repeat this over and over again. Here are your words that you usually repeat. You say, most times the neighborhood know who's doing these things, but we don't say nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll be shocked that the individual may be your own relatives or stay next door to you, but what hurts is when a person knows who took the other person's life or discharged that weapon and won't say anything.
Yes.
That hurts more than me seeing a person discharge the weapon and shoot somebody and you know it and won't say nothing or you protect them.
Yeah.
And, the people are a person of interest to the community, the ones that rode on this bike. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to flood their pictures door by door throughout that whole Marquette Park area until they be identified. They have to go in and answer, to what they done.
Absolutely. For those who live in the suburb areas here, and I see a few of you do, tell us, where is the Marquette area?
Marquette area is 7100, 70 South California, that whole area over there. And, but I'm all over the city, out the city, in the suburbs. I have a nationwide number, which is 1-800, the letter U tell us. That's 1-800-883-5587. You can report any crime, any day, any hour. I have someone on standby answering that phone. You don't have to leave your name. You can leave the individual's name that discharged the weapon, or if it's human trafficking, that's crimes against our children. Just leave any information where it's at. Don't leave your name unless you want to leave your name and you want to be in part of this investigation. But first and foremost, through prayer, we thank the community, the city, and the nation for calling that 1-800 number, giving us those tips. It's not about snitches get stitches. It's just reporting a crime.
Yes.
We want to bring this crime down till it's zero.
Yes.
But some of these young men and young women and older young men and women are the smartest ones that we have here. They just need some attention, some love, some guidance. Somewhere the family has been lost right there in doing it.
Absolutely. And do you know, right quick, where did it start? Do you know really where did it start? Or was it the absence of the father, or was it the absence of the church community? What do you think it was?
Well, it starts at home. I know when I was coming up, we were always going to church.
Right.
So you have to always install a prayer there to teach them to love someone. Then when the home is broken up and one of the two of the partners leave, the other partner slacks off, maybe the father that slacks off, but you still have children.
Yes.
You still have to raise them. You still have to talk to them. You can't leave them alone. Then it may be the mother. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you see where the job and the economic situation is so bad, then the children are watching their fathers go sell drugs.
Yes.
Now, if they see you selling drugs or you taking them to the corner while you selling drugs, guess what? And they see the neighbor, mother and father work, and he's watching his dad. He's in school.
That's right.
By 8, 9 years old, he got his own package.
Right.
By the time he's 10, you can't tell him nothing.
Right.
It's too late to be a father then.
Yes, true.
And you have the children coming home from school, and if they see their mother or their father at the table and they got these blunts, and they smoking these blunts, and they need help with homework, and you sending them straight to the room, but you want to point the finger at the teacher when they failing, but they're asking you for help, but the only help that they can see you giving is smoking that blunt. You got to put that blunt down.
Yes.
You can't be a parent 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning after you come down off your high.
Yes.
The only high that you and I say you should have is just being high off of Jesus.
Lord have mercy. Yes, sir. The
High
doctor,
off of Jesus.
went there, Dr. Gibson. What are we going to do with the man? That's some good stuff, Doc. So, yes, let me go ahead and let you go, but give us that information again for anybody who knows have seen these people. And again, there's somebody out there, they know who it is, but they kind of keep it on wraps. Because I live in the Roseland area, okay, and I've seen you up and down those streets as well. And, and I was looking at my neighbors, they fussing and fighting with each other. And the mother, I can tell it's a single mother in the house who have men coming in and out of her homes. Okay, she's got teenage kids, and the kids were fighting until one hit another one with a bat. Okay, I don't know what it was, and it injured him so bad that he collapsed. All right, and then the police came. All right, and now the police is asking the family, the sisters and the mother, who did it. You know what they were saying, right? What do you think they were saying? We don't know. We don't know what happened to him. We have no idea.
Nobody wants to say nothing.
Nobody wants to say anything.
Everybody want to be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree. In many cases, it is somebody in your house.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
In my neighborhood, they were marching, talking about put the weapons down.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, you're marching to the wrong people.
Yeah.
Some of the people who were saying put the weapons down, you have children at home with weapons.
With weapons.
You know.
Yes, you do.
What's in your house.
Yes.
But it doesn't faze you. It doesn't affect you.
They broke in my house and stole my stereo system. Mm-hmm. Okay, you remember this? Mm-hmm. And they stole my stereo system and they took it to their house. These little boys, took it to their house up the street. And then you went to the house not knowing that they took my stuff. You just went to the house to visit the family. And in the living room was my stereo set.
I forgot all about that.
Okay, now watch the Doc Holmes. In the living room was my stereo set. And my brother Rodney turned to the mother and says, did you buy this? And she said, no, my boys brought it in. And he says, and you never questioned where that stereo set came from.
So much of that is going on these days.
Ain't that so?
Kids don't have a job. Yeah. Teenagers don't have a job.
Yeah.
But if you bring something in my house and I ain't bought it,
Yeah.
We got a problem with it.
Yeah.
Right.
First, put it back at the door.
That's
Yes.
I got to find out where this come
Where
from.
this come from.
Right.
And you got to show me a receipt.
Yes,
There it
sir.
is.
You can't come up in here unless you coming up in here with a Bible. You come in there with a Bible free in the house, then it's okay. Walk around with Jesus all day.
All day.
But you're not walking around with no laptop, no gym shoes,
That's
and no
right.
computer.
That's
that
right.
I ain't bought. I'm not going to question the Bible.
That's it.
So true.
We had the same thing. We couldn't come in the house with a bike,
no.
skateboard, nothing, because, well, so-and-so, and my dad would say, does his mother know?
right.
Well, okay, let's go find out.
Yes.
That's right.
And we were not allowed to have locks on our doors or nothing.
Yeah,
nothing could be closed to my dad and my mother.
No,
Well,
absolutely.
I say it like this, and they can charge it to my head, not my heart. If you got a child, a teenager with a lock on the door in your house, the children and the teenager don't have the problem. You got the problem.
You got
That's
the problem.
so true.
Because
That's right.
there's no way a lock should be on the door in your house and you raising kids.
Yes.
That's right.
They
Wow.
raising you.
They're raising you.
And the
That's
biggest problem that we have, if you see your own family member and they struggling, they need help, you know they are drug addiction, father or mother, and your niece, your nephew's in there. But you looking at it and keep going. You just as guilty for not getting them some help. Get your sister and brother some help.
That's right.
Yes. Oh,
That's
my
right.
goodness. That's so true. You going to say something, Gibson?
Yeah, I remember a situation where a parent told the child to keep their door open to the bedroom, and the child went and closed the door nonetheless out of disobedience, rebellions, whatever. And so he said, "Listen, I don't want you to close that door. You need to keep your door open so we can see what's going on in your room." They just kept closing the door. So one day when the child left, the parent took the door off the hinges to keep from closing the door. And when the child came back, said, "Where's my door?" "Well, I told you to keep the door open, and since you're in my house, this door is going to remain." Get the message that this door needs to stay open. So you got to put your foot down.
Yes.
And
take
stop
the door
being
off the
these
hinges.
kids' friend.
That's
Yeah.
right.
We got too many folks trying to be their kids' friend instead of being a parent.
That's
Right.
so true.
And so now you got a child that doesn't respect you. And if they don't respect the parent, you know they're not going to respect me as an outsider. So therefore, they don't have respect for authority. They don't have respect for leadership. They don't have respect for the police officer. So some of these problems can be eliminated if we just teach our children, first of all, to have respect.
Yeah, a whole lot of them can be eliminated. You know, it starts right there in the home. I don't care what they say.
Yeah.
If you raise them right,
Yes, sir.
even though a lot of parents don't raise theirs right, but they still wouldn't make that bad choice in life.
Right.
So we just have to stay prayerful and stay faithful.
Amen. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate everything you've done and for this community at large, and not just here in Chicago, but I've seen you in other cities. You know, as a matter of fact, we're still praying for your strength because, it's family from Indianapolis.
Yes.
Natalie, I see you here in Bullock, and Eric, Jewel Hayes, and all my Indianapolis people, they're here. And so, we kind of got to continue to pray for this man's strength. That matter of fact, can you just give us about 1 minute of that? Can you pray for this man?
Father, I thank you for this, my brother. I ask that you will continue to give him an insight, continue to open up doors for him, continue to lead, guide, and direct him, and continue to protect him and his family as he do your will, and let him know that you love him and that you support him and that we support him. In Jesus' name we pray. Thank God.
Thank God.
Amen.
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 Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Yes, sir. Y'all out there, go ahead and share this if you can. This is the man who was out there just, he's the one that's helping keep your house safe. What is it? It's called preventive medicine, I think it is.
Yes.
Preventive
But
medicine.
one of the problems we have is we don't have accountability for other parents.
Yes.
See, when we grew up on Albany, there were a lot of we had a lot of two-parent houses.
That's right.
And because my friends' parents, especially their fathers, knew what our dad stood for,
Yes.
they would let us get away with anything. They would tell us, your dad would not allow you. And some of them would let their children do anything.
That's true.
But they would restrict us from doing anything because they knew your daddy, Mr. Jones, as they call him. Mr. Jones won't allow you to do that.
Right.
So one of our problems is we don't have accountability from parents. Parents are supposed to look out for one another's children. We're in a day and time now is don't put your hands on my son or or whatever the case may be, is every man for themselves until you get in trouble, until your house is affected or burglarized.
That's so true.
Now you want everybody to squeal on who did it.
That's so true.
I think that's one of the problems we have in the home, and we have this on the job, and we have it in the church. No accountability to one another as a parent.
As a parent. You're so right. Well, thank you guys for allowing me to get that news in there, because that was kind of important. Let's talk about from David to...
It actually segues right into it, actually.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say earlier when he was talking about the family plan. And it's just so apropos that we've been doing the whole family plan we started with...
First Lady.
No, we didn't start with First Lady. We started with PK.
Abraham.
PK.
That one.
I think we started with PK.
Yeah, PK.
And then we went to First Lady.
First Lady.
I think we called it the Family Affair or something like that.
Yeah.
Then we went to the
family.
The pastor, I think it is.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And today, this is our family. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. And I think the best way to start this off is to go to Matthew chapter 1, which give us the lineage of David, and it can explain some things, and it can confuse as well.
Okay.
I started kind of late, so yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank God for Dion being back here. Oh my gosh, y'all just don't. Y'all just don't understand what a blessing that man is.
The man. Abronia said, "Hey, Dion."
Yeah, she did.
It's foolproof.
It's foolproof.
I now know. Yeah. Yes, Abronia does know everybody.
Abronia does now know everybody. Yeah. That's so true. Okay, now here is the genealogy of Christ. All right, now there's two genealogies, brothers. There's Matthew's genealogy, and then the other gospel picks up. Luke picks up the genealogy, and then he takes us somewhere else. Though.
Isn't that preacher's term? Pick up.
Pick up, yeah. You know, I get that from y'all's preachers. You know, I'm still a lay person.
Yeah.
I'm just a nobody. Ooh, Lord. Okay, all right. Abrona say a lie. She talking about who she know. Okay, the book of the generations of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Okay, L. Jones.
Yes, sir.
Doc Gibson, y'all got to help me with this first one.
So was Jesus his actual son? Is
well,
that what you're saying?
Notice it says the book of generations of Jesus Christ, and it says the son of David, the son of Abraham. Why couldn't it say the son of David and then somebody else after Abraham? They skipped. There's a whole bunch of other folk.
Yes, sir.
Why couldn't they say and the son
sons.
of Jacob or the son of Isaac or the son of Jerubbaal? You know, come on,
or Jedediah.
Jedediah. Come on. Why did it say David? And then he went right to Abraham. I mean, there has to be a reason for that.
Because those are very important lineage. And everybody needs to trace your lineage back to David and back to Abraham.
I see.
So those are very, and David was a man after the heart of God, but Abraham was a friend of God.
Yes, sir. Okay, all right then. You kick this thing off just right.
I felt that.
I felt that too somewhere. Then it says, Abraham, now at verse 2, really kind of answers the question. Because it says, Abraham begets Isaac. So what it did was, it took you back to the beginning, and now it's doing
it's going to explain it.
Yeah, they're ready to explain. Because I always said that God's clock is the reverse of ours.
Yes.
Ours go that way, and His counterclock.
Right.
Because you see in the book of what's the Ecclesiastes, where it talked about there's nothing new under the sun, and what's to come has already happened, and on and on, and that's God's clock.
Yes, sir.
So He looked in your future and determined what your beginning is going to be.
And I use that to tell people that before I got sick, I was already here.
Yeah.
But I don't know why we have a problem with that.
Yeah, you don't have a problem with the saying? What?
No, people have a problem when I say, well, one guy, he got healed, I think, just by hearing it. But I said before I got sick, I was already healed. If Christ can be the lamb slain before the foundation of the world, and He was slain for my healing, but by the time He got here, He had already been slain.
Yes.
That means I was healed before I got sick.
Oh, my.
Because God's clock is in reverse mode.
Yes, it is. Yes,
in other words, He's playing it out now in reverse. So by the time Christ got to the cross, He had already been there.
Yes, sir.
So He said, before Abraham or before Solomon was, I am.
I am.
You see what I'm saying? So I ask people. That's why I say faith is not about God healing us. It's about you accepting that you have already been healed.
You've already been.
That's why it's by faith.
Yes.
So it's a reversal thing. It has already been done.
Yes.
Right. He makes the provision before it even happens.
Exactly.
Like even with Abraham, since we own Abraham, he told Abraham, your seed is going to go into Egypt. Mm-hmm. And but don't worry, they're going to come out.
They're going to come out.
And with great possessions and so on and so forth.
Yes, sir.
This is, 400 years before they even get there.
That's right.
For 400 plus years before they even get there. And God have already talked about or provided their deliverance before they even got there. He spoke about their deliverance before they got there. And so what happens when they get in Egypt? God already worked from the backwards way.
Exactly.
And boom.
And he already
come out.
In your
like
fourth generation, I'm going to pull you out. So Moses had to be born.
Moses had to be born.
Because he was the fourth generation.
And he had to go through those 80 years.
Yes, sir.
In the wilderness because it had to be an exact time.
And that's why God had to allow them to roam in the wilderness for 40 years.
Yes, sir.
Because every last one of them rascals had to die. Yeah. And God knows exactly how much time it's going to take for the last one to croak. Yeah. The last one to bite the dust.
Another one bite the dust.
And then he fed them in the wilderness, right? Yes. But the Bible says that self-same day when they entered into the promised land, that's when that other food that God sent down stopped.
Bam.
Boom. Because God knows everything.
He knows.
There's no searching of his understanding.
Oh my Lord, yeah, y'all. I don't know. Why am I even here?
May the Lord watch.
Why am I even here? Oh my goodness. Yeah, can y'all turn to Ecclesiastes while you're at
we on the subject?
Yeah, we actually.
I thought this was free fall. It's in the car.
You got time to go get it.
Yeah, you want it?
No, I just use it on my cell phone.
I know that can be kind of rough because I'm a papers. Yeah, man.
Yeah, Lawrence just put that. My son Lawrence just put that on Facebook.
What?
The two translations. He said he heard that the NIV was purchased by the Satanist group.
Sure.
And he put on there Proverbs 18:6, where it talked about a fool. He put the NIV, the other translation, and then the Message Bible. The Message Bible promoted violence.
Okay. Wow.
So one says, a fool, maybe I should read it.
Yeah, I want you to read it.
Yeah.
We don't want you to be making up stuff.
Right, because as your brother, I could.
That's Cody. Cody makes up stuff.
I can make it up.
Natalie Bullock says, got to take him back to the patriarch. That's why he mentioned Abraham. And Brony says Matthew had to show the Jews that Jesus came through Abraham. But that's who they recognize more than anybody. Two people they recognize more than anybody.
Abraham
and Moses.
And Moses.
And so she brings up a good point because Matthew is writing to a Jewish people.
Yes,
exactly.
And so it was befitting for him to start with Abraham.
That's right.
Because if he would have started with anybody else, they would have said, "Wait a minute, this guy's a fraud."
Yeah, yes,
exactly.
sir. That's
this guy
good.
is not real.
He know culture.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so he had to, in order to win the audience, you got to hit them where they are.
Yes, sir.
Which is a whole nother subject.
What, hit them where they are?
Yeah. Hit them.
Yeah. That is another subject.
You got to deal with them where they are.
Yes.
Here it is, Proverbs 18:6.
Proverbs 18:6.
Read the book.
Read the book.
The New King James Version says, a fool's lip enter into contention, and his mouth calls for blows.
Wow.
The American Standard says, a fool's lip enter into contention, and his mouth calleth for stripes. The Message Bible, the words of a fool starts fights. Do him a favor and gag him.
Oh, I love it. Proverbs, boy, be doing it.
So the question is,
oh, that's great stuff.
Is the Message Bible promoting violence? Did they change the Message Bible?
Right.
No.
And I like Donnie Swagger said the Message Bible is not a translation. He said
Donnie Swagger is a joke within itself.
He said the Message Bible is not a translation; it's an opinion.
It's an opinion. Wow.
Eugene Peterson is, in my opinion, he does a great job with the interpretation. I don't see no fault in the man. I'm like Pilate with Herod, with Jesus. I find no fault with the man.
But they still crucified him.
Well, we may have to crucify Peterson as well. But he used terms that people can readily identify.
Uh-huh.
But he said, do me a favor, gag him.
What's wrong with that?
But that's not what the other translation said.
What other translation?
The other translation said that his mouth calleth for blows.
Uh-huh.
In other words,
what else?
Because,
What else you say?
That's what it said. It said, let me read that again.
Read it again.
My brother.
Bean pie.
A fool's lips enter into contention, and his mouth calls for blows. That's the New King James. The other standard says, a fool's lip enter into contention. So all of those parts are still correct, right? Mm-hmm. And his mouth calleth for stripes, right? Mm-hmm. Now the message...
Stripes or strife?
Stripes.
With a P.
In other words... stripes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. In other words, what he's saying is his mouth is asking for it.
Yeah. Brawler.
Right? Mm-hmm. So now the message translation says, the words of a fool starts fights. Do him a favor and gag him. Now, that part right there, I'm wrestling with. Do him a favor and gag him?
Yes, because if you don't, he going to get whooped.
I don't know, boy. We done lost control in this house. Gag me with a
gag me.
Yeah, you got to gag the fellow. Keep his mouth shut. Hey, I'm finna save you for whooping.
Yeah,
right.
You better listen.
Okay. Well, Ecclesiastes 3:9 says, "The thing that has been,
yes,
it is that which shall be. And that which is done, is that which shall be done." And there is no new thing under the sun. But then I love how it continues. Chapter 3:15 says, that which hath been is now, and that which is to be has already been. And God requires that which is past. I mean, in his poetry in motion, but it further explains the counterclockism of God as we move into his dispensation. Come on, man, I made that up right there, boy.
Right.
Made that up.
Now, this is what I'm told. Matthew 18:18.
Yes.
Says, verily I say unto you, whatsoever ye shall bind on earth,
yes, sir,
shall be bound in heaven. And whatsoever ye shall loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. I'm told the original translation is, whatsoever you loose on earth shall have already been loosed.
Yes, sir.
In heaven.
Right. That's what you've been told.
Yes. And whatsoever you shall bind on earth shall have already been bound. In other words, we cannot loose or bind anything that Christ has not already loosed or bound when he died on the cross.
Yeah.
So that's again, it's something that has already been done by him, and that's why we're able to do it.
Yes, sir.
Even Romans 4:17 that says it's God that called those things that be not as though they were.
Yes.
We don't have that power.
We don't.
So we're living in a world with a battle that has already been won.
Yes.
And that's why we have to accept it by faith that I'm fighting a battle that has already been fought, and this battle has already been won. Let's cheat like everybody else do.
Yes.
Go to the end of the book and find out they won.
They won. That is so true.
I was watching. I was watching an old video game of the Chicago Bulls playing Utah Jazz in the finals a few years back in the Michael Jordan era. And I'm sitting there watching them. It's late at night, and I'm watching it and I see Karl Malone fouls Michael Jordan, and I'm saying, man, that's ridiculous. That don't make sense. I said, they need to call that foul. And I calmed down. I said, wait a minute, man. You getting excited over a game that's already been played, and we already know the outcome of the game.
Wow. Right.
The Bulls come out, so he can foul if he wants to, but the game, we know the outcome.
Wow.
And if we can take that and apply it to our spiritual life, that we go through these things, the devil attacks us with all these sickness, whatever the case may be. Ain't no sense to getting mad. We know that in the end,
right? We win.
Wow.
We win.
Wow.
We may have a lump on our back.
Yes.
Or a limp in your leg.
Or a limp in a leg, as Jacob. But you still
win. Come out on top.
We forget That's why the Bible says in Hebrews, I think it is, looking unto Jesus, the author and the finisher, who for the joy that was set before him.
Right.
He endured the cross, despising the shame. Yeah. So he was able to stay on the cross
by
because
looking ahead.
He kept focused on what was ahead of him.
Yep.
So Hebrews, we don't know who the author is. Hebrews tells us.
It was a he, though.
Right. It was, and he did Bruce.
You did.
So Hebrews tells us that whenever we go through something, to stay focused.
Hebrews.
To stay focused on the future.
Yes, sir.
To keep our eyes affixed to Christ. And when we keep our eyes affixed to Christ, or Paul said, the prize, right? Mm-hmm. The high calling.
Yes, sir.
So if we could just understand that, you're going to go through some things. That's why James said, count it all joy.
Yes. Yeah.
When you're confronted with all types of trials and tribulations, knowing that the trying of your faith worketh patience. Yeah. But if we can just let patience have a perfect work, then we can come out complete. Yes. So we're in something that we should keep focused. And that's every preacher's job, to keep us focused of who Christ is, to keep us focused that whatever we go through, we can have the good outcome.
Yeah.
Because how you go into it may determine how you come out of it.
Oh, man. And now that's some good stuff. Because if you notice, when Jesus, usually when he got upset with his own people, it's because they should know the law.
They should know it. That's right.
And he would say, Did you not read?
How long have I been with you?
How long been with you? Is it not written? Right. He even did that to Satan.
Yeah.
He says, is it not written? and Satan was like, you know what?
He right.
And then Satan says, is it not written? You know, you know what I'm saying?
And then what did Jesus finally say? Get behind me.
Get behind me. Yep. Because
that was written too.
In other words, you can't keep a conversation going with Satan. You just got to put that fella behind you.
Come on,
put
man.
Him behind you.
Come on, and that's the whole point of what you guys are saying here, is that it's the way to victory is to go back and to realize that God has already won. He already won the battle. What's the song? Don't wait till the battle is over.
Shout now.
Okay,
because you know in the end you're going to win.
Yeah, so you go ahead and fight the battle, but you're gonna win anyway. That's good stuff, man. That's good. Now that right there alone is a show.
Yes, sir.
And it should bless the masses right there. You got yeah, absolutely. The Apostle Paul was talking about in the book of Thessalonians. You talking about the end time, right? And he says, and it seems shocking to us, but he says at the end of that, he says, but encourage one another with this.
Yes, that's it.
You're supposed to be encouraged with this because the Lord gave you in the end. In fact, the book of Revelation is telling you that you're winning.
That's why I say cheat and go to the back of the book. Go to the back of the book and
read some liner notes or something.
So let me ask a question. What is a foe? F-O-E. What is it foe?
It's like Batman and Robins to the Riddler. You know.
So a foe is an
enemy.
He's an enemy. Because the Lord gave me a message one time. I think I came out of Hebrews, Peter, one of them after James. Fighting a defeated foe. The person you're fighting is your foe.
Yes.
But he's a defeated foe.
Yeah.
He was defeated by the one who created you and him.
That's so true.
And he knows he defeated.
Right.
But he don't want you to know that he's defeated.
Right.
Revelations 12 said he knows that his time is for a little while. So he already know his end is coming.
Exactly.
But he keeps us off track.
Exactly.
And to get us on his side.
On his side. And when we get on his side, we lose from the winning side.
Man, that's good stuff. Yeah. And Satan always knows because when Jesus approached the demoniac, the demon in him says, whoa.
Are you coming to torment us?
That's before our time.
Right before our time.
Exactly.
It's not our time yet.
And they know that.
They do know it. They do know it.
How come we don't know it?
We don't know that. Yeah. No. Nope, I'm not going there. So verse 2 says, oh, wait, somebody was saying, who was that? Brother says you sometimes spoke in past future tense, meaning it has already happened, even though you haven't seen it. Yeah. Verse 2 says, Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac begat Jacob, and Jacob begat Judas and his brethren. Why do you think he didn't just keep saying Jacob begat Isaac begat Jacob, Jacob begat Yat, and Yat begat? He said Judas and his brethren. Why did he add the brothers in there?
Because those all the brethren will represent the 12 tribes.
I see.
Yeah.
And he says Judah, right? Mm-hmm. But also Judah was the one that they prophesied on and said that the scepter
would not
never depart from him
until Shiloh come.
That's something. See, because he was supposed to say, Isaac begot Jacob, Jacob begot Reuben.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Reuben would be the firstborn.
See what I'm saying?
But the promise was not to Reuben.
Reuben screwed that up.
Yes, sir.
And
Big time.
Big time. Okay. Now we on point here. Now, y'all help us out here because it seemed like the family of God, the firstborn, kept messing up.
Yes, sir.
All right, give us some scenarios of the firstborn losing out on birthrights.
Ishmael and Jacob. Ishmael and
Isaac.
Isaac.
Okay, Isaac being the promise.
Right, but
Right.
Ishmael
But
was the
Ishmael came
firstborn.
first.
Ishmael was the firstborn. But this is one thing I want to say about Ishmael is that Ishmael, even though he was not the son of promise, God told the mother Hagar that he was going to bless Ishmael simply because
he was
who
Abraham.
his father was.
That's it.
So when you go into that gas station and you go to your Dunkin' Donuts and you go into your Subway and all these other stuff,
neighborhood
your
grocery
neighborhood store, that is Ishmael.
That's
God
Ishmael.
blessing Ishmael.
Yes, sir.
And so we can say, well, I don't want them coming in my neighborhood. Okay, you got that right now to want them to come in your neighborhood,
Right,
but God promised rest on them.
Yes,
They're going
sir.
to be in everybody's neighborhood.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
sir. Yes,
They're
sir.
going to open up
And 12 kings
Yes.
from them.
right.
Yes.
And they're rich.
They're
Brother,
filthy
they-
rich.
Now, isn't that where the
Yeah.
Muslims come from?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
Yeah, they and the Bible's talked about them being wild.
wow, man. Everybody
Yeah.
was going to be against them. So
Yes,
we
sir.
got these going over ISIS.
Yeah.
We got all these crazy folks over there in that Middle East. Oh, God, I hope none of them's listening.
No, Walter, he's friends to them.
No, me, yeah.
Yeah, he's
And
friends.
so you have every man against them. And is not the whole world trying to fight ISIS?
Sure.
Yeah.
Just about?
Yeah.
Except Russia.
Absolutely. Yeah. Except Russia, right?
So is this where what's his name? Almighty ISIS?
Oh my God. Maybe. No, that might be ISIL. I don't know.
Is.
Yeah, is.
And I had a friend that said if George Bush was in office, it'd be was.
He
He would have killed them already.
would have killed them off. Absolutely.
Now, why is it so important? How come you hardly heard about the women? And do women beget? You felt that too?
Women don't beget; they birth.
They birth.
Yeah.
So it is men
It
that
is the
beget.
seed that begets.
The seed that
The
beget.
one that plants the seed is the one that's doing the begetting.
So why is it so important? How come you don't? Every now and then you will see where it names the mother's name.
Sure do.
But in tradition of the scriptures and genealogy, you barely hear about the women. Is the Bible male chauvinist?
What is it?
A lot of folks, yeah. A lot of folks believe that it is because it's very, very male oriented. But you got to look at the culture of that time.
Or look at our God one.
Or look at how God
Forget
won.
the culture.
But I mean,
God know what He's doing.
Yeah, he do.
Exactly.
But he used women in scriptures all throughout scriptures.
Throughout
mightily.
scripture, yes.
We're gonna see a couple names in here that are in Jesus genealogy. That's a
That's
woman.
a woman.
That's a woman.
Okay, but then that woman had to be mentioned because of her importance.
Well, let me ask this question, then.
Well, go ahead and ask
Because
that
this is blowing my mind. Does the promise of God come through the man, through the woman also, or is it just through the man?
It's through I like to say through the man, because even if we go back to the Ishmael Hagar situation, that's all I got to say.
We all waiting patiently. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Think about it. If God blesses, God says, I'm going to bless Abraham with a son. Is it just Abraham's seed, or is it important that it be with Sarah
Right.
rather than with Hagar?
Right.
And if even in that, I'm talking in general terms, when God blesses a man, is that the woman a part of that blessing, or can that man, whatever he produces is going to be blessed, or is that calling in the mother as well as the father?
Okay, I'll put it to you this way. When God created Adam, He told him to have dominion over everything. But in order for Adam to really actuate all of that, he said, wait a minute, there's nobody here to help him. So there's only so much that a man can do being single. And so even though the promise is on the man, there comes a point where that man needs that woman to bring forth or bring out what God have placed in him. So if God say, Brother Zach, I'm going to bless your seed, I can't go be like the fella, what was his name, Onad, and spit it out on the floor. I need a woman that's going to carry the seed.
That's true.
And so, and that woman needs to be my wife. The one that God have said, okay, this is the one that's your helpmeet. That's going to help bring you to what I said was going. And so Hagar was, although she may have been good, she still was not the vessel to bring forth what God had promised.
Which is my question.
What's your question?
Is the woman, the particular woman, just as important? Because in this family, you'll see Judah born. But who was Judah's mother?
Right. Leah.
Judah.
That
Who's Judah's mother?
Yeah,
Leah.
No, you thinking about you thinking about Jacob's two wives. You thinking about Jacob's two wives.
Yeah.
Wait, what was the question?
Rachel and Leah.
What were you talking? You said Judah's mother.
Who's Judah's mother?
I'm sorry, I'm going somewhere else. Which one was Judah's mother? Because sometimes I get the mother confused with
Now,
because there was 4 women involved.
Right. Okay. Scratch that.
Yeah.
There was the man who got tricked by his own daughter-in-law.
Yeah, that's where I thought you were going.
Yeah, that's where I'm going.
Because she played the harlot.
She played the harlot with her father-in-law.
Yes.
And
Perez.
Judah was.
Yeah, come on.
And Judah was the father.
Sure.
Okay, yes. Judah was the father.
Judah was the man that did
the who got tricked.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then, okay. So, but my question is this. Is the particular woman just as important as the man? Or does it make a difference the woman you're with? So I have a wife and our children are blessed. Suppose I married another woman. Would we have the same children? Would they be just as blessed? Or is it this particular woman? Does she have anything to do with this thing?
Well, if it's a covenant, then, if like he made a covenant with Abraham, I'm bless your seed. And that don't matter, who's pushing out the babies, he blessed the seed. But when it came down to the promise of Abraham, when it come down to the promise that he's have a particular child that's going to birth out and bring to fruition, now that had to become through a certain vessel. And it had to be through Sarah, just like Judah came through Leah and not Rachel. Are you with me?
Gotcha. I'm with you.
Jesus came through Mary. It had to be a particular vessel. And so God wasn't just going to use any vessel. It had to be a particular vessel in order for, for what he wanted to accomplish be done. Now, does this mean that James, the brother of Jesus, was not blessed? No, I don't mean that. They were blessed, actually. They end up being some of his followers. After they opposed him, they end up being some of his greatest preachers or proponents of his ministry. And so that they still end up being blessed in the long run.
So God blessed Leah because she was ugly.
No, God blessed Leah because she had the seed of Jacob.
But because she was ugly, right?
No, I'm not saying she was ugly.
Wasn't she ugly? She was cross-eyed.
Yeah, well,
no, she was tender-eyed.
She was tender-eyed. She was tender-eyed. One eye was always, it was so tender.
She had 6. She gave him 6 boys.
Right. But
okay. and a daughter, by the way.
And you probably want to do something on that because Jacob didn't love her.
Right.
But God blessed her because she was not loved.
Right.
For all you ugly,
all you ugly women that ain't got nobody yet, God is he's in your corner.
Yep.
God is on the side of the ugly. I mean the righteous.
You about to drop some babies, and they shall be called.
You gonna
blessed.
spit them out? Pop. Got childbearing here.
Yep. Pop. Call one of them babies Weasel. Pop goes. What was his name? Weasel. Lord have mercy. You got who was this? Tashonda Hall says man cannot create a blessed seed without a chosen woman.
No. A man cannot birth a blessed seed without a woman because he can have the seed. Because we all have the seed, but we need that woman to be the conduit, if you would, for the baby to come through.
Right. The seed has got to be in the proper egg.
Right. It has to be in the proper egg.
Okay.
Sure. Well, Janetta says that we are important to bring forth the seed. That's true. That's true.
Yes.
Samuel Sisney says that the blessings come from the seed. The seed comes from the man.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Abroni says it was important that the promise was through Haggai. Now I'm not sure why she said that. Antoine said God instituted marriage, and the angel went also to Sarah. God will honor His own institution.
Okay, yeah, which is marriage.
Right.
So he's talking about, because Gibson mentioned about the husband and the wife team bringing forth the blessed or the seed.
Lady Rochelle said something important here, or interesting. Mm-hmm. If the woman wasn't important, God could have picked any other virgin than Mary.
Who's not to say that she was the one that was just picked? I believe, and I asked a question a while back, did God pick Mary because of who she is, or did God cause Mary to be who she was and did pick her?
For whom He foreknow, He predestined.
He predestined.
Absolutely.
Because I don't believe she was just that innocent by herself, but I also believe that the lineage had to go all the way down on both sides of the field.
Yes, it did.
To get to her.
Had to be parallel. Yeah. Perpendicular, whatever the name is.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's so true. That makes a great point. And that's how the Gospels had to line up. Matthew had to line up on that left end, while Luke came
lined
on the
up
scene.
on the right end.
Yeah, and one took you back to Abraham.
The other one took you back to Adam.
Absolutely. Very important here. Okay, now let's see here, because I don't know if that answers your question or you answered your own. But now here goes the one y'all talking about. Now Judah got Phares and Zara of Tamar.
Yes.
Now there's Tamar. There she is.
That's the daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
Now that's the illegal birth.
Yeah.
That's the illegal birth now.
Yeah. And Phares begat Ezram, and Ezram begat Aram. Aram begat Amminadab, and Amminadab begat Nason, and Nason begat Solomon. Love his fish, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And
Pink.
Pink. Salmon begot that guy that all single women love to speak out of their mouth.
And here's what a problem. Go ahead.
Boaz of Rachel, sorry. So it says here, and Salmon begat Boaz of Rahab, right. Now, some Bibles
I know
give
they probably
you a
want
different
challenge.
Some Bible gives you the proper origin of the names.
Right.
And others give you another. That's why I like to read out of the Jewish Bibles, because it gives you the right.
Right. Now, while you're on Rahab, this is the harlot, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm still wrestling with this harlot.
That's a woman that pays for sex, get paid for sex.
No, but what I'm wrestling at is she's in the book of the Hall of Faith.
Yes, she is.
And she lied.
Oh, yeah, she lied.
That was my point.
But she lied to cover the men of God. But she made the Hall of Faith is what got me.
Yes.
Now, she made this Hall of Faith not being saved. She was a harlot.
Yes.
All right? But she told the men of God, I heard about your God.
Yeah.
And I know y'all going to come and get this city. So I'm going to ask you all to swear to me that if I cover you all going to cover me and my family. That was faith that woman exercised, and she made it into the book of the Hall of Faith.
Sure did.
And so she ended up marrying. Now, Rahab, would she be an Israelite? Is she a children of Israel?
Well, at the time that they stormed the wall.
Yeah, probably not.
No.
Okay, because she's an outsider
Sure.
then. So she married Solomon. Then Solomon would be the fisherman. The children of Israel, and he would come, and then somehow he found a harlot and married her.
Right.
And then this is where your Boaz comes in.
Yep, this is Boaz. There it is.
So Boaz's mama was a harlot.
Come on now, Boaz, Rachel. Rahab, and Boaz begat Obed of Ruth, and Obed begat Jesse.
Now here's another problem. Ruth.
I love her candy bar.
Moabitess.
She was a Moabite.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And the Moabite came from Lot and his daughter.
Sure did.
Yes, sir.
His daughters got him
Mixed
drunk.
breeds.
Yes, sir.
And so now
Incestual
Obed has a serious problem.
What's that, bro?
His grandmama was a hoe on one
Uh-huh.
side, and his other grandmama come from incest.
Yes, sir.
So Obed got a situation.
Right.
So now, as my uncle will say, he got the case of the can't help it. Anything he produces is going to bring some seed from both sides of the family.
That's right.
And this is important because we need to understand why people do what they do. It may be their nature that they do it because it's in the blood count.
Uh-oh.
It's the DNA nature.
Yes, sir.
You do it because you can't help yourself from doing it. But there is an answer.
There is an answer. We're about to give y'all the answer. Oh, my Lord. Y'all, bro, we did that show. I don't know if we did the show.
Yeah, we did.
So
On
why
Generation.
would
He don't have his
God?
He don't have his headphones on. He don't hear the music.
Okay, I don't.
he get ready to go into another 30-minute discussion. I gotta go to break, man. Tell me, explain the facet of the worth and the world to me. All right. Yeah. We're coming back with whatever Gibson was about to say with the news. Give me a quick commercial and come on. This is the Sir Walter Jones Show.
You're listening to the Sir Walter Jones Show.
Log on to urbanbroadcastmedia.com and check out the many services Urban Broadcast Media provides. Whether it's social media, video production, radio broadcasting, or audio recording, we got you covered.
Love, glory, and inspiration 24 hours a day. UBM Praise Chicago, a service of the UBM Networks.
The following show is paid programming and does not necessarily express the views and opinions of Urban Broadcast Media and its subsidiaries.
Thank you for listening to UBM Praise.
The Word of God is powerful, often misunderstood, but with proper study, you can gain accurate application of this potent source of life here on the Sir Walter Jones Show.
If I were you, I would say yes. Speak, Lord. Speak to me. Oh, speak, Lord. Won't you speak to me? Sometimes I dream that he is me. Got to see that's how I dream to be.
I dream I move.
I move.
I dream I groove. Like Mike. If I could be like Mike.
I wanna be like Mike.
Like Mike. If I could be like Mike.
Be like Mike.
Be like Mike.
Oh.
Be like Mike. Yeah, I try. Just need to fly.
Just one day if I could be that way. My move.
Dream I groove. Like Mike. If I could be like Mike.
I wanna be like Mike.
Like Mike. If I could be like Mike.
Oh,
Be like Mike. Like Mike.
like Mike.
If I could be like Mike.
Investigative reports from Mayor Lakita for the Sir Walter Jones Show. Trouble on every side. Another school shooting took place, this time inside of a high school in West Texas. Investigators reporting that a 14-year-old freshman died of an apparent self-inflicted gun wound after shooting and injuring another female student inside the school. Meanwhile, during the news conference of the shooting, a male caller reported a bomb threat at a nearby university, while another threat was called into the Alpine Hospital. Investigators are looking for the caller, and he could face federal charges. The threats are not related to the high school shooting. Crossing the moral line. In Oklahoma, a mother and daughter are being held on a $10,000 bond charge for marrying each other. Incest. Police say a mother is in hot water after she married her own daughter. Patricia Spann lost custody of her daughter, Misty Spann, and 2 other children when they were young. The mother's children were raised by their grandmother, and Patricia allegedly told police she didn't have any contact with her kids until 2 years ago. But when they were reunited, Patricia claimed she and Misty hit it off. In another twist, an investigator reveals that Patricia Spann married her own son in 2008. Court records show Patricia sought an annulment for their marriage 2 years later. The district attorney's office says that this is one of the most bizarre cases he's seen in his entire career. In Oklahoma, incest is a felony, and those convicted can spend 10 years in prison. In church business, African-American women church leader in the Chicago area are joining forces to stop the spread of HIV, AIDS, and other illnesses in the communities. The First Lady's Health Initiative is comprised of pastors' wives from 50 churches in Chicago and Northwest Indiana. Here are your King David trivia questions. Number 1, David was forced into exile by the attempts of his life. Which of these did David do while in exile? A, he killed 1,000 Philistines with the jawbone of a donkey. Number B, letter B. He destroyed the Philistine temple. C, he offered his military service to the Philistines. Number D, letter D, why say number? He and his band of outlaws raided Saul's palace. The answer is C, he offered his military service to the Philistines. And question number 2 is David's early exploits as king was to capture the ancient portion of Jerusalem and make it his capital city, the city of David or Zion. Who did David capture this territory from? Was it the Canaanites? Was it the Hebrews, the Jebusites, or the Philistines? The Jebusites. That is C. Absolutely. Yep, that has been investigative reports for September 8th, 2016 from Mayor Lakita for the Sir Walter Jones Show.
What's this stuff? Some cereal. It's supposed to be good for you. I'm not going to try it. Let's get Mikey. Yeah. He won't eat it. He hates everything. He likes it. Hey, Mikey.
Regular, cinnamon, and raisin life. Nutritious, delicious.
Now, Life Cereal and Fisher-Price Toys offer rebates of up to $150 on 40 Fisher-Price toys. Details on specially marked Life Cereal packages.
Okay, I'm going to do this right, okay? Hey, this is Tyrone Block, and you're listening to the Sir Walter Jones Show.
Welcome back to the show, y'all. Sir Walter. Yeah, that's me. We're talking about the road from David to Jesus the Christ. And we just now really getting into the nitty-gritty of it all right? So, let's continue, shall we? And Salmon begot Boaz of Rahab, and Boaz begot Obed of Ruth, and Obed begot Jesse. And Jesse begot David the king, and David the king begot Solomon of her that had been the wife of Uriah. What's going on there?
That's her name.
What? Uriah's.
Uriah's wife is the name that she's been stapled.
Yes.
Even till this day.
Mm-hmm. The name.
Because she will always be his wife.
Ain't that? Yep, that's very important, man.
Even now, the Bible distinctively said that a time when kings normally go to war.
Yes, sir. Talked about that yesterday.
This particular time, David decided to go to war.
Yeah, stayed home.
Stayed home and got on the rooftop.
Yep.
And saw something.
Mm-hmm.
A good thing.
Yeah.
But the problem is now this where it says, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing, because he found a wife, but it was just
it wasn't his wife.
Exactly. So he found a good thing.
Yeah, he did.
But it was another man's good thing.
Yeah,
it was too good.
It was too good. Yeah.
So, but you see the anger of God because the first baby died.
Sure.
But then you see the forgiveness of God because the second baby was Solomon.
Yeah, the grace of
who
God.
was the wisest man that ever lived or died. Which one?
Both.
But let me stop.
Yeah, don't go there. Jonetta Richardson, what are you saying here? Say, my deceased ex-husband wasn't, and then my deceased Wi-Fi went down. Okay, it's back. My deceased ex-husband wasn't saved, but he planted his seeds in a woman who was chosen to bring forth his sons, who because of her faith is in line to inherit God's blessing. Is this an example, or is she saying this is a true story?
So she the,
she
the Hagar.
She the Hagar.
I do understand what she's saying. But sometimes the child is going to be because who the child is going to be.
Yes.
Sometimes it's on the parents, but sometimes I believe it's on the child. It's like a gift. We think that a gift comes because I'm doing so good. No, you were born with the gift.
Right.
You just received the calling of your gift at a later time, whenever God chooses to call you. Right. So I believe that a calling of an individual has something to do with the parents, but then I believe that there are sometimes it's just an intervening of God. He chose this particular child for a particular reason, whether the parent was any good or not.
Okay,
that's just my belief on that. I'm not speaking against Janetta.
No.
No, we went to OR together.
Yeah, and she got muscles.
Sorry to hear that.
That chick got muscles.
Oh yeah, I don't know a Reed that ain't got muscles.
Yes, Lord.
All them Reeds got
all
muscles.
them Reeds got muscles.
Every last one of them.
Brother Scott says Boaz was important because he was the kinsman to Naomi. And Naomi's husband and sons had died,
right,
and there was no one to carry on her husband's lineage.
Right.
Yes, that's so true. And Jesse begot David, and David. Okay, we got that. And Solomon begot Roboam, of course, depending on your interpretation. Right. And Roboam begot Abiah, and Abiah begot Asa. Asa begot Jehoshaphat. Yes, even though it's Jehoshaphat, it's Josaphat in some King James versions. And Josaphat begot Joram. And Joram begot Ozias. And Ozias begot Jotham. And Jotham begot Achaz and Chaz, or depending on if Hispanic, okay. Achaz begot Ezekias, okay. And we know the names that we usually use, right? But again, this is my Bible. And Ezekias begot Manassas. God help this Manassas.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy, Manassas. Although I like spreading him on my pancakes. And Manassas begot Ammon, and Ammon begot Josias. And here it is. And Josias,
yes,
begot Jeconiah.
Oh,
all right.
That's where the problem came.
Here's the problem.
Yes, sir.
Now Jeconiah, his name is also Jehoiakim.
What else?
All right. It's something else too. Oh, it's this starts with a Conias. Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so those three guys in one. Okay, so Josias begot those three guys. One guy. And his brethren, about the time they went carried away to Babylon. Very important. So now we've got to try to interpret this, because if Jesus come through this man's lineage, then Jesus don't belong on the,
exactly.
He don't belong there.
Yes, that's where
he don't belong there.
The butter meets the bread.
The butter done meets the bread.
Yes,
I guess you got to go to Jeremiah, right?
Yes, sir.
Chapter 20.
I'm glad you found it. Jeremiah what?
22, I think it is.
Jeremiah
22 and 30.
Concordance.
Jeremiah 22 and 30 will answer our question, maybe. Maybe. Y'all turning with me out there?
Jeremiah 22 and 30.
And 30.
Render this man. Is that what it says? Oh, yeah, that's it.
Is that the one?
That's the one right there.
Oh, my.
That's where the rubber meets the highway.
Yeah. Okay, what are you saying, John? Well, that's right. I have muscles. Janetta.
Janetta?
Yeah. Could the child inherit the blessing because it's the law? Antoine is asking.
The law of what?
Yeah, whose law?
Yeah.
Well,
to
answer this
is
question,
it a culture?
To answer this question, no. Because by law, Jacob shouldn't have got it.
By law or by custom?
By
because
law.
I think it's really a customs marriage situation.
Some stuff is custom.
Not so much the law. But he's right, though, that it should not have went.
Yeah, the birthright of the firstborn
should.
Yes.
Because
yes.
Because if you look at it, It goes all the way back, even though Adam and Eve was more, they were not Jews. They were Gentiles in a sense. Okay, but look at who was born first. Cain. Okay.
Then he killed Abel.
You see what I'm saying?
But he skipped him and went to the third child, Seth.
Okay, replace. Okay, that's the situation.
Yeah.
And then of course you got the
Ishmael and Isaac situation.
And then
you have the
Isaac's children.
Now, what are y'all talking about? The firstborn?
Missing out,
right?
Missing out.
Then you got Isaac boys.
Okay, you
which
get
Rachel. Well, Rebecca, rather, with the two nations fighting in.
Yeah,
that's Jacob
okay.
and Esau.
Jacob and Esau. They missed out.
Jacob get it.
The Jacobs had Reuben, who missed out.
He didn't get it. And
neither did the second or third cat get it.
Or the fifth, sixth one.
Okay, well, let's see.
Judah would be like
Judah would be the fourth, because it was Reuben, Simeon, then Levi, then Judah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh yeah. Go to Genesis. I just preached on it, so I know.
Okay.
All right. Okay. All right. Then they lost. Then if you go to Joseph, another thing happened.
Switch another hand.
You got Ephraim and Manasseh. Yeah. Okay.
But now there's one blessing of the firstborn that the firstborn is not getting right now, but it's on a temporary hold.
Yeah.
And that's Israel.
Mm-hmm. Sure. That's good. That's that.
Yeah.
Boy, that boy right there.
Yeah.
That face right there.
See, I feel that now. Just see, Janetta, we go way back. See. Because God told Moses to tell Pharaoh, Israel is my firstborn.
That's right.
And he says, firstborn?
Yes, sir.
For firstborn.
Uh-huh.
But that firstborn is temporarily on hold.
Yeah.
And now we, the Gentiles, is reaping the benefits of that firstborn being on hold.
That's so true. That's it.
Another point.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
He's stretching himself.
The story of the prodigal son.
Yes.
A lot of times people overlook why the older son got mad.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the reasons why he got mad is because this younger son, what he should have gotten. Well, what should he have gotten? That fattened calf was designed and reserved for the oldest son for when he gets married.
All right now.
And so he didn't get it. But the younger son got it when he returned back home.
That's good stuff.
Y'all can preach that later.
I'm going to preach that tonight in the state meeting. Bishop, I got a message.
The fatted calf is entered. Turn to your neighbor and say, hey fat
neighbor,
calf.
You fatted calf, you.
And don't forget them ugly women.
Yeah. Lord have mercy. Turn to your neighbor and say, Leah.
With your blind self.
Hallelujah. Antoine Einstein said that was the law. Well, I don't know. You got to prove it.
Yeah, you got to prove it.
You got to find out. Tell me
some
what that was the law.
Some things we call a law may be a custom.
Custom and culture, sure.
Yeah, maybe a custom and culture.
So, yeah, I hear you. I love fighting with Antoine.
Antoine,
let me tell you,
my boy.
Antoine is a tough boy.
Oh, yeah, he tough.
He ain't no joke. You know, he may
pushover.
He may joke around it, but Antoine Eisen ain't no joke. He ain't no pushover.
Yeah,
he'll push you over.
He'll push you over, right?
You better push back.
And blame Sir Walter, but that's okay.
Yes, sir. Our brother says, I'm preaching on that next conference call.
Preaching on what?
What is it?
The ugly women or the fatted calf?
Okay, you and help us out with this.
Thus
Jeconiah.
saith the Lord.
All right,
Yes,
tell him what you're reading out of.
This is the
I'm
problem
reading
right
out
here,
of
y'all.
My iGod, as my brother Dwayne called it, my iGod.
My iGod, okay.
On my iPad.
His iPad, yeah.
Jeremiah 22 and verse 30 says, Thus saith the Lord, write ye this man childless, a man that shall not prosper in his days. For no man of his seed shall prosper, sitting upon the throne of David and rule any more in Judah. And they were referring to Coniah.
Yes. So Jeconiah,
Coniah,
and that other
Jeconias,
word.
or something like that.
The word, wait a minute. Yeah.
Jehoiakim. Verse 28 says, Is this man Coniah a despised, broken idol? Is he a vessel wherein is no pleasure? Wherefore are they cast out, he and his seed, and are cast into a land which they know not. O earth, 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 hear the word of the Lord. Now when God, and you know, they said in the Jew, it's a custom that when they say something twice.
Yes, sir.
It's power.
Yes.
He said it
three
times.
Verily, verily.
Yeah. O earth, 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 hear the word of the Lord. Now, that's a prophecy that can never be switched.
Ooh-wee.
And he said, write this man childless, which means now none of Caniah's children would be able to reign as a king, or his seed will be able to reign as a king from the lineage of David.
He meant that thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's a device for emphasis. Earth, earth, earth. You know, you hear me? Did you hear what I said? No. Did you hear what I said? That's pretty much what he's saying here. So, L. Jones, then Matthew chapter 1, verse 11 is saying that Jesus come out of this man's lineage, but God cursed this man, says,
yes, sir.
His seed cannot sit on the throne.
His seed cannot sit on the throne.
Well, then this Bible is false.
No, it ain't.
Well, I can get my
I don't know about
back.
yours, but I know mine ain't. You might got that new translation.
That new translation.
You got that message.
See, now this is the wisdom of God.
Oh my! Did you see what he said? That? Did you see his face?
Wisdom of God.
I say it one more time so they can believe.
Wisdom
There it is.
of God.
3 times. Earth, earth, earth.
Because there is no way possible.
Yes.
If Mary and Joseph had to come together.
Yes.
And Joseph been Jesus' natural father through the seed, Jesus would not be able to reign as king.
Couldn't do it. He couldn't
because Joseph come from
Caniah. That's right.
But the wisdom of God.
Oh, he had to do something.
Knew how to lay that thing out until he made it to where both Joseph and Mary's lineage would come together all the way down to where Mary is.
Right.
So when we get the reading of the actual lineage of Jesus in Matthew, it's from the father's side.
The father.
Right.
But when we go to Luke,
it's from Mary's side.
It's from Mary's side, which still gives Jesus the right to reign and to sit upon the throne of David.
Lord, have mercy.
Come on here, saints of the Most High.
You spell my name, Shamba.
R.W.
Shamba. All you need is faith in God.
Lord have mercy. I hope that helped y'all out. I just hope that helped y'all out. We had to fix 11 because this has been a problem for those who are Old Testament studiers.
Right, right.
Okay? All right? Not study like stutter. Because some of y'all stutter in the word. Okay? Don't be stuttering in the word.
Like Moses.
And 12 says, and after they were brought to Babylon, Jeconiah begat Salathiel. Okay, now let me get
Sally Field.
Yeah, her too. That would be
right.
Yeah, Shealtiel, that's the other word. And Shealtiel begot Zerubbabel. Zerubbabel begot Abiud, and Abiud begot Eliakim. And Eliakim begot Azor. Now, y'all try doing this, okay? And Azor begot Sadak, not Hussein. Okay? Although I like his socks. And Sadak begot Achim or Achim, okay, begot Eluid. And Eluid begot Eliezer. And Eliezer begot Nathan. And Nathan begot Jacob. Okay? Here we go. Full circle. All right, because, you know, a lot of these names were repetitive in that culture. Okay?
Right.
That's why you have a lot of Hispanics who got the same name.
Right.
And you got a lot of Jews whose their names are Davids. A whole lot of
a whole lot of Davids, whole lot of Lawrences in your family.
And Matthews, okay?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's why they didn't want John the Baptist John.
Yeah.
Because Elizabeth just thought that they were going to name him after the father. After the father. They were like,
Junior.
No, there's nobody else named John.
Nobody else.
But the angel named him.
Yep, sure did. I preached that sermon Sunday night.
The angel named him?
No, what's in the name?
Oh.
What's the name? 16, and Jacob begot Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Jesus, who is called Christ. So all the generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations. And from David until the carrying away into Babylon are 14 generations. And from the carrying away into Babylon until Christ are 14 generations. Okay.
So 14 times 3 give you
40 and 2
there it is. 40 and 2 generations.
There it is, right there. Okay.
So For you numberists?
You numerologists.
What does 14 mean again, huh?
It means, who knows?
You know, somebody done already said that 14 is the number because of this. But we do know he came through 40 in 2 generations.
Yes. Yes, he did. So now, let's start with David and work our way. Okay. Because we got David, then we got to talk about Solomon, then we got to talk about Absalom, then Adonijah, then Ammon, and go down. So we got to figure out what's going on. That's why it's going to have to be a series, all right? All right, so David's on the throne. All right, now let's go back. Okay. Take us back. How did he get to the throne, though? That's the whole thing about that.
How did he get to the throne?
Yes, because Jesse had a whole bunch of boys.
Jesse had all of them. 7 sons? 8 sons? Walter, Larry, Michael.
Gibson.
Okay. David, and this is what I say about people who have to fight for position. If it's yours, you don't have to fight for it.
You got to fight for it.
It will come to where you are. David was out tending the sheep, smelling like billy goats.
Yes.
And so the man of God came to Jesse's house to make one of his sons king, right?
Yes, sir.
So the Bible lets us know that when he went to pour the oil refused to come out. I would love to have been
I
there.
would have loved to see that.
I just
too.
wanted to see the laws of gravity
suspended in there.
Or God jailed the
God
oil
jailed
and
up
it wouldn't
and
pour.
made it solid.
Man.
And I can just see those guys talking about, say, yay, pour it on me. Now, the only thing was poured on him is his spit from talking. So Jesse, who was the
Saul.
Saul.
No. The prophet
Samuel.
Samuel says, surely, you got another son.
Yeah,
because God can't lie.
Well, before that, he looked at the one he was handsome or something like that.
Yes, he saw
tall or something.
I think it was Rodney, Lawrence Jones.
None of y'all. It was Walter. Yeah, it was Walter. He looked at Walter and said, "Surely that's the guy.
That's not the one.
That's the one." And God says,
"But you know why you know why he thought that, right?
Yeah.
Because Saul was a head and shoulders above everybody else.
He was fine.
He looked good. He was Fabio.
Yeah.
Fabio.
Who was Fabio?
I'm too sexy for my clothes.
Fabio. So they looked at Saul and said, "Okay, well,
this is what God determined."
Right, he looks kind of like Saul.
Right,
body structure and everything, hair flowing, everything. He had a perm. He was booming. He was doing it.
He was the man.
Got that
So based off how Saul looked, he goes to Jesse's house and say, "Man, this fellow put me in the mind of Saul." And God had to put the brakes on him and say, "Wait a minute. You're looking at the outward appearance,
right.
And I'm looking at the inward. He looks good on the outside, but he ain't done on the inside, so he's not the
Lord
one."
have mercy.
So all of you women who's looking at a husband,
you're not done on the inside. And it reminds me, my wife makes cakes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And every now and then she have to go and poke that cake to see if it's done. And if she got these little sticks, and if the stick comes out after she pokes it, if it's gritty and stuff is on the stick, that means that the cake is done. It smells good. The smell is all through the house. It looks pretty, but it's just not done on the inside. So you have people that want positions, and they look like they can handle it. But God is saying, "No, wait a minute. When I put this stick in you, okay, this man man about to give me an offering." I'm saying like Bishop Bonner, I'm anointed to raise this. And so they want the position, and they feel like I can do it because they may have some books and everything. Yeah, you may have all the outward appearance, but there's something about your inside that just don't agree with God.
It don't line up.
Or says, y'all silly, she said they had good hair. They didn't need a perm.
Now Moses, the Bible said, and looks does play a part because Moses was made beautiful by God.
Yes, sir.
He's a good-looking guy.
He was a good-looking guy, and that was the only reason they saved him.
Yes.
Because the Bible said he was a goodly man.
Yes.
And that word goodly, if you reference it, it means he was a handsome man.
Right.
And that was the only reason why he was saved, because they looked and said, this is a handsome-looking man. That's why he was saved. But I agree The problem is we look at the outward appearance, but sometimes the outward is just beautiful, but the inward is dead man's sepulchre.
Sure, sure, yeah.
So God looks for something different than what we look for.
Yes.
And somebody said it. You marry a woman because she's a Coca-Cola bottle.
But you might like Pepsi.
No, she is. But she
you may like milk. You need milk. Just a jug.
Just a jug. Lord have mercy. Bring on the vitamin D. Got milk. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. I don't know where this show is today.
I don't either. I don't know. X-rated.
Just straight.
Just
preacher's X-ray.
Scratch it off.
Yeah. So Ella Jones. So y'all still notice that he passed through all those boys, and then the prophet says, "Is there anybody else?"
Right. So they go. Gets David. David comes and the oil flows.
Yes.
Let it flow on me. He flows.
Yeah.
And it's very important that we recognize if it's yours. Yeah. You don't have to fight for it.
Oh, Lord.
If it's your calling, if it's your office, if it's you supposed to be the pastor, the church will vote while you somewhere driving your school bus.
Wow.
And by the time you get back from out of town, you have been made the pastor of that church. Yeah. Too often we're fighting for something that God ain't called you to.
He ain't called you to it.
He will give you a sign and he will have a Samuel. He will send Samuel to Jesse's house to find you. And if he have to go out there to the job and ordain you right where you are.
Man, I need to be here tomorrow when Corey Bush is here.
Woo! That's next week, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Did y'all hear that? But you see, y'all looking for an iPhone, but the Lord will give you a Samsung. And if you act up, God's going to recall you like they did in
and make you a flip phone.
Make you a flip phone.
And are you pokeable?
Are you pokeable?
Hey, but
yes, sir.
Speaking of which, guys, would y'all stop poking me on Facebook?
I said that yesterday. Please. I said I do not.
I am not going to.
I'm not returning no pokes from no dude.
It looks so strange. About some Gibson just poked you.
No, I
didn't.
Really? We are out of control. This whole world is out of control.
Hey, listen.
Yes.
God takes the most unlikely person to do the unusual, so it's unmistakable as to who gets the credit. And when we read through that genealogy of Christ, you see he uses people that's unlikely to be a part of a dynasty.
Unlikely.
And that's the key word, unlikely, because he's going to take that unlikely to do the unusual.
Right.
So here it is. He takes a Rahab. She shouldn't be there.
Right.
And she uses the unlikely to do the unusual. That way it's unmistakable as to who gets the glory. And so now we look back, now here we are today looking back at this, and we see how God gets the glory out of using a woman that shouldn't even be in the lineage of Jesus. And now here we go with David. He shouldn't be the king. He shouldn't be the one that's anointed simply because he doesn't look the part. But one thing that I realized, that God chose David, and we're going to have to deal with this part. God chose David after he rejected Saul. He said, I'm going to raise up a person that's a man after my own heart.
Yes, sir.
What does that mean?
All right. This is where the good stuff gets in. Okay, this is where the good stuff goes in, because God knows all things.
All things.
And he knew David had an issue.
Well, yes, you know,
David had
some flaws.
David had a flesh issue.
Because remember, he from that lineage.
Yes, he is.
Flaws.
A horn around.
A horn,
flaws.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, you can call him flaw. He was whole.
He's a flawless hoe.
Male hoe.
He's a hoe flaw. I don't know. I hope he flawed his
But
teeth.
David had a pure heart.
Yes,
would
he
you
did.
say?
How can a person have a pure heart when they sin? Y'all don't got quiet on me. My goodness.
We waiting on your answer.
Yeah, we're waiting on your answer.
So we can disagree.
Because again, I remember I told y'all that God's clock is counting.
Yes.
All right. So a man who might seem like he's in a sin state right now,
right,
don't mean he's that way tomorrow.
Because God talks to your future.
Yes, he does.
He told that man, almighty man of valor.
Yes, sir.
While he was hiding.
Every
time I mention something, y'all preaching.
Yeah.
Are y'all preaching? What'd you preach about?
What you preach about, Dion? Yeah, nothing.
He preached by praising your hands.
Surrender. So
Lost my thought. You lost your thought.
I ain't never supposed to have
never.
a word not to say.
You're talking about how God sees you in the future versus what you are now.
Speaks. See, we judge things different than what God
Sure
does.
do. Thank God for that.
I know that's right. And see, he called us into the ministry, and God knows we would be making all kind of mistakes, doing sin and all that, but he still called us into the ministry.
Right.
Because God knows the final outcome of an individual, and God is the only one that can step into your present and erase or change your past if he wants to.
That's so true.
And God can cause you to die and then undie you and put you back, and you have never been born before until now.
You be undied.
That's God. Listen,
that's God.
I knew a man who God undied him. God walked up to a dead man's grave. That man was dead, and he called him Lazarus, and Lazarus was undied from that day until he died again. That's the God that I serve.
That's right.
So many times God speaks to our future. He speaks to who we will be.
That's so true.
Even though at the present time we're not what we ought to be. For those who he foreknew, he also qualified.
Yeah.
He also justified.
Yes, sir.
See, he shaped and molded us.
Right.
Because remember, he's the potter.
Yes.
And we're the clay. Mold me and make me every day. Oh, I wrote that.
I get ready to say,
I wrote
mold
that.
me and make me, but not gay.
Unless it's Donald.
Right, unless it's Donald.
Gay.
Yeah, there it is.
So he has to, at times, speaks to who we are supposed to be.
Right.
Even though we mess up right now, we can still be a man after God's own heart, because David had a pure heart for God. Because when David done wrong, he repented.
He did.
I believe he was
wait a
godly.
minute, wait a
I know you're going to say he only repented because he got caught. Go ahead, doctor.
Uh-oh.
You already said it. You know, since me.
See, that's full proof that I'm a prophet.
From 4-6.
David repented when he was confronted.
Yes,
it's
he
not
did.
that he got caught. He was only repented when he was confronted.
That's good. That's good.
Because he was just going on, just being the king.
That's true.
You know, it pays to be the king, but go ahead.
It does.
And we don't really know. We can only look at what Scripture say, but we don't know what would have happened if he had not repented or things of that nature.
That's the next question. Let me ask you a question. One thing about David. Do you believe that David was a man that had a repentant heart?
Well, how many times did David sin?
Oh, I lost count.
But the ones that's in the Bible.
Okay.
Like the book of John, there's not a book that contained it.
No book, right? You know what I'm saying? they stopped writing this. You know what? Let's just stop writing. This man is just too much. They ran out of ink.
Well, let's see. There's two incidents that I know where he sinned.
When he numbered Israel.
When he numbered Israel, and
that
with
was
Bathsheba.
the great sin. And with Bathsheba.
So those are two instances where he sinned, where God.
Didn't he go in the temple and eat something he wasn't supposed to?
Yeah, but Jesus kept that out. But he ate the showbread.
But that's after Jesus.
But Jesus mentioned that.
He did.
Yeah, Jesus mentioned that.
Yes.
That he went into the temple and he ate the showbread, which was only supposed to be for.
Yeah.
But he did that because he was hungry.
Sure. Exactly.
So this is a thing where you never put a man's life up against a culture or a law or something like that.
Which is why Jesus healed the man on the Sabbath.
Yes. Because it was more important for him to be healed than it would be for you to follow a custom or something like that.
Yes. And I've seen judges throw out cases where a man, he had to break the law by running a red light to avoid an accident.
Yes.
And the judge says, throw out the ticket.
Right.
Because this man had to break a law in order to save his life.
Save a life. Yes.
So that's good stuff.
Yes.
And I believe that even if Donald Trump was running against 16 people, I think it's 16 people who were insiders. They were governors, they were senators, and what have you, and he beat them all. Businessman.
Like you don't do Hillary.
You see what I'm saying? And I believe in my heart of heart that the Lord allowed that to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, even though he's not worth a president, he's not worth it. But the Lord had to use that as a way to change the whole climate of America. I truly believe that. Now, is he going to allow him into office? I don't know. I don't know. But he allowed him this far because he needed him to go this far.
Yeah.
So
to scare the saints to do what's right.
To get our attention.
Yeah.
And to get the Democrats and the Republic's attention, okay, and then Russia's attention, okay, ISIS's attention, all this stuff. He had to put that
everybody's
getting attention.
The whole world is paying attention to this election.
Yes, they are. This election right here, and I believe in my heart of hearts,
and some of the saints are starting to pray now.
Yes, sir. He ordained this to be.
They praying that he don't get in there.
They praying he
but
don't.
At least they praying.
Yes, sir. Now, if he get in there and God put him in there,
then they're gonna be praying that God get him out.
They're gonna be praying that God hurry up come.
Right.
Come, Lord.
Come, Lord. Even so,
come today. We ain't got 8 years of food with this man.
Right.
Okay. Y'all making some good points.
16
right.
years.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Because, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
What's on the other side of the rainbow.
And this is going to be one heck of an election. But go ahead.
I know. I just said I do know then. In his human nature and his human weakness at times, God said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, seeing that he also is flesh. I do know that there are times when man will not just follow the guideship of the Holy Spirit.
Right.
But still, who that man is as a whole, including David, he was a man after God's own heart. David established worship. David was a man that I believe that had a repentant heart. David did a whole lot of things that saw the heart of God, that made God glad, if I can use this type of language. And even the outcome of what David did would make God glad. And a lot of stuff we're doing now in our worship, and even the Psalms that David wrote, he wrote, I believe, from his heart. And because David is what I call a worshiper.
Right.
And Solomon was too.
Sure.
Solomon was helpful in instituting worship.
Yes.
The rest of those kings didn't do that.
Yeah, and actually, it wasn't until Solomon. Let me reverse the screen because I need them to see this.
Right.
There was one praise and worship that happened in Moses' time, and that was through his sister.
His sister Miriam,
who played the tambourine. You didn't hear about no praise and worship after that.
That's it.
Okay.
Right.
David was a man of war.
Yes, he
and
was.
Bloodshed.
And
he couldn't build a temple. God didn't want him to do it.
Right.
So there was no worship then per se.
Right.
Okay, even though he was a wonderful minstrel of God.
Yes.
Generally, as far as the kingdom is concerned, it wasn't happening until Solomon came. And when God chose Solomon to be the worshiper,
or whatever.
Notice, for 40 years, there was no war. He was a king of peace.
Yeah, king of peace.
Which allowed him to be so rampant.
Which happens when you worship God.
You see what I'm saying? So it was that time of peace. I would relegate it to I know people on the other side was going to get me for saying this, but the years of the Bill Clinton.
Yeah, we had peace during that time.
No, we had
war. Surplus.
We had surplus.
Yeah,
it was a time of prosperity.
Yes, true.
During that time. And now watch this. I just thought about this. How ironic this is, because it was during the 8 years of Bill Clinton where Donald Trump got really rich.
Oh yeah,
he was already rich, but he got really rich during that time.
Yes,
during Bill Clinton's years. By fact, he supported the Clintons. He gave to whatever. Okay, donated yada yada yada. All right. And then after Clinton left, we had the supper, what have you, and then of course we know what happened after that.
Yeah,
so you see how things coming full circle. How now he's going against the same family
that made him,
who made him who he is today. You see what I'm saying? So God had a plan. So through that, the praise and worship happened with Solomon. But let's go back to David, because again, next week we got to dig deeper into the lineage, the children, because we got to find out. All right, when David sinned with Bathsheba, God told him something very important.
Yes, he did.
Help us out with this, what God told him.
When he said, if you had to ask me?
Yeah, let's find out the things that God told him, because God told him a couple things.
Yeah, I have to find it.
All right, now, number one, the thing he did tell him was that if you... like you just said, if you
had to ask me,
he says, I gave you everything you needed.
Yeah, gave me such and such,
and I would have given you more if you wanted, but you didn't.
Right.
So you
didn't ask me for it.
Yeah.
In other words, you got something that you did not ask me for.
Yes.
Which is that'll preach right there.
Yeah.
Taking something that you didn't ask God for.
Yeah.
Because the Lord was his supplier.
Yes.
God gave him everything he asked for. But here's something that he did not ask God for, yet he took it. But when he took it, he did a whole lot of illegal things to take this thing. He covered up a lot of stuff.
He did.
To take this one thing That must have been a powerful woman.
That must have been powerful. And you notice when they got through, they did what's called a ceremonial wash. Why are you still? Now that'll preach right there. Okay, why even go through the religious rituals after your sin?
Because
and still cover it up and go on like nothing ever happened.
Which wash did they do?
They did a ceremony. Jews when they sin, or if they're impure.
Right,
they're impure.
right.
All right, so I want to go somewhere with this because y'all keep bringing in the Old Testament stuff. I'm not talking about y'all per se. I'm talking about
people. We live in the Old Testament.
We live in the Old Testament, but most of the things we do is sinning against the Old Testament.
That's
because if your wives are going to church on their periods,
now you can't say that. You have to say the custom of women is upon them.
That one there. Boom. When y'all on your periods,
it may be a question mark.
And you going to church,
right?
You're sinning.
You're sinning.
Or number
and
2,
your husband is sinning for being in the same bed.
Yes, sir.
And when the preacher prays for you, he's sinning.
He's sinning too. Yep, that's right. And when you get in your car and drive to church, you also sinning
on the Sabbath.
On the Sabbath.
Yeah,
come on, man.
It depends on how far you're going, though.
Well,
right.
There you go.
It has to be a Sabbath day journey.
Yes, it has to be a Sabbath day. Yep.
And that's why you have to go to Bubba's house Saturday night.
Yes, sir.
So you can be closer to the church. And then when Sunday morning or whenever the Sabbath is, then you only can go a few distance.
Come on.
For those who want to live in the Old Testament era.
Yep. Because if you live in Skokie, Illinois, all right, my church is in Evanston, so I got to go through Skokie. When I go through on Saturday, they walking. Ain't none of them Jews in the car.
That's right.
Because their temple's right there.
Yep. And you must needs go through
You
Skokie.
must needs go through Skokie. You see what I'm saying?
No, I hear what you're saying.
Okay, all right. So David took a ceremony. He and Bathsheba take a ceremony and watch everything. But they both was worthy of death.
Yes, sir.
God's supposed to kill them both.
Why?
Because they broke the law.
Which was?
Defilement.
Yep, because both of them really was married.
But as the king. Remember what God said.
What he said?
Y'all want these king? You want them to be king? Yes, sir. Now he going to take your wives, your children.
Right.
He's going to take your maids, your bond servants. He's going to take all of the things. He's going to take them. Are you sure? And they still said, we still want it.
Right.
Now, Israel is suffering just as well because they told God, we don't want you to be a king.
No.
We want a man to be a king. So now David is only doing what the kings would do.
That's so true.
Even though God said to Solomon, I know, do not get extra horses, do not get this, and do not get that.
Did.
But Solomon still did. So Solomon broke many rules.
He did.
We think that when he got them strange women, no, there were other laws that Solomon had already broken.
Sure did.
And I'm told this is why God didn't speak to Solomon about it until he broke that last law. So he broke a series of laws. Then I think the Bible did say that God spoke to him twice or 3 times. I think it was twice concerning that matter, but Solomon refused to hear.
Yeah. Well, God asked him, "What do you want?" And he just said, "Just give me wisdom."
Right.
And then God says, "I'm gonna make you," because you didn't ask for riches.
Exactly. I'm gonna make you riches, man. Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir.
Absolutely. And he did just that.
Yes.
But I like the point that you make. He wasn't. He said you don't chase after this other stuff. The women and the horses and all this stuff.
Right.
He says, and the reason why he didn't want them to do that because then it seems like when something, if you win a war or something, then you get the credit for it. I think it's absolutely. It's the I guess I can call it the Gideon effect. You know what I'm saying? It's just too many people. So now they're gonna say God didn't do it.
Exactly.
Man did that.
Man did it.
Yeah. So lap like a dog.
Right.
Lap like a dog. Okay, man, that's good stuff. All right. So let's take David to Solomon. Okay, with the 4 minutes we got.
How many?
Well, it's 5:47, so we got about 10 minutes.
Oh, now he put the headphones on with no music.
You see what I'm saying?
We're gonna start playing.
Yeah, Joseph Daniel Phillips, y'all.
Oh, hey, Rip.
God bless us, help us. He says, I believe when we get to heaven, God is going to tell us he never liked most of these songs we sang. Joseph is so true. He is man. He just preached the gospel.
He's a man after my own heart.
Yeah, he's right. Wait, what's back?
And he's a musician. He playing those songs.
Yeah, he sure is.
Because he's an accompanist.
He is accompanist. Yeah, darn good one too. He says, wait, was Bathsheba taken against her will?
That must be Joseph.
Yes.
Yeah, we debate that issue.
This
is a very good issue.
Let's talk about it.
Number one, you can't say no to the king.
You can't say no to the king.
Because it pays to be the king.
It pays to be the king.
You cannot say no to the king.
No.
But I don't know, and we really have to read the scripture detail to really determine whether or not this was done against her will.
It's not there.
No, we got.
It ain't there.
It may not have been done against her will, but it was in the will of God.
What was in the will of God?
That David be with Bathsheba.
Ooh. Uh-oh.
I know that's going to get controversial.
Don't. That's when I need that.
No. Oh, no, he didn't.
Yes,
No,
I did.
no, he didn't.
Because
No, he
if,
didn't.
because remember, if David would not have had Bathsheba,
there's come my question.
Solomon would not be on the throne.
There's my question.
All right.
Is David's seed only David's seed in promise with Bathsheba?
Good question.
Or would Solomon have been born to someone else?
Yes.
There's my question.
There it is.
There.
And
we did just like God.
Yes.
We started at the beginning, but we played it out.
Absolutely. That's a good. It took us a while to get here, but you put us back here, Gibson.
2 hours.
You should write another book called Ecclesiastes Part 2.
Gibson's version.
Gibson's version.
So, it was David's seed that had to come forth, because remember, looking backwards, that it had to be from David, not through Micah, Saul's daughter, all them other women that he had, but it had to be his seed. But God knew who he needed to birth the seed through, which was Bathsheba.
Okay.
So if Uriah is still in the picture, David couldn't have Uriah's wife while he's alive.
Sure.
So he had to go ahead and knock him off. Now, we have to understand, even though that's sin, and it is, it's, there's no justification or getting around that it's not sin. But this is how God works. He takes our mess up. Mm-hmm. He takes the sin that we do to birth his will out of our mess ups. Mm-hmm. And so that's why Romans come back and say, and we know.
Sure.
All things work together.
Good.
So now God is being the unseen puppet master.
Sure.
He's the one that's pulling the strings. Mm-hmm. We think we're doing things on our own, but God is prompting us to do it for his will to be done in the earth. So if David if David go to war, he'll never see Bathsheba. Mm-hmm. We know he should have been there, but we got to understand God's will and God's way of accomplishing his will goes beyond the way we even can imagine. Mm-hmm. And, it's just as far as the east is from the west,
his ways are far past.
So his ways are from our ways. Mm-hmm. And so now we say David should have been at war, which he should have, according to the custom. According to the custom.
Right.
But God is not limited to our customs.
Right. He's not subject to it.
He's not subject to our customs and or our times.
That's right.
So he operates independent of men's customs, operates outside of them half of the time, because we just talked about that older child, all those older children that didn't get it, but it came through the younger child. Mm-hmm. And so same thing is true here with David, Solomon, and Bathsheba. So God knew that Solomon had to come through Bathsheba from the seed of David. So he allowed these things to happen, because we got to understand, nothing happens without God's consent.
True.
Okay. Well, I don't know if consent is the right word. I think maybe allowing
consent.
Knowing, yeah,
well, it's still consent.
Well, then we go into this permissive and this other will. You see what I'm saying? That's the other battle.
No, I don't believe God is bipolar. He has one will. That's just me.
Now that's the fight you and I agree with.
Right.
But this guy on my left, though.
Well, the permissible
and the perfect. The perfect and the permissible man over here.
I don't think God is bipolar. Maybe we have to deal with that in another show.
Yeah, he's
I don't think he's bipolar, and I don't think there's no searching of his ways.
Yes.
And I do know that he works in an awesome way. And I do know that many times we don't understand how he works, nor why he works.
Right.
But he's still God, and everything is subject to him.
That's the sovereignty of him.
He's sovereign.
Right.
And everything is going to line up tragedy takes place.
Yes.
It's going to line up. We pray for tsunami victims, but I believe sometimes these tsunamis is gone.
It is. Oh. It is. I believe.
See, we are humanity, and I know we're hurt, but you don't know how long Jonah been standing there.
That's true.
Telling those people,
right,
to repent, and guess who gonna get hard hit?
Yeah.
America.
Yeah.
We're going to get hit hard. It's going to be bad for us
Yeah.
because Jonah is speaking out, but America refuses to hear.
Yeah.
And at least the Ninevites, they made the cows, the dogs, everybody had the fast. Everybody had to repent, sackcloth and ashes. Here it is, we got leaders in the church, in the political realm, that won't repent.
No. Yeah, Donald Trump says he owed God nothing. They asked him the question.
He's going to be the first one to go.
Yeah, anyway. He says, I don't owe him nothing, pretty much. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Now, Gibson said a couple of controversial things.
Yeah,
he say it all the time. Ain't nothing new.
Let me get my
unfriend.
He
get unfriend him. Unfriend him, bro, right now.
But what did I say now? That's
because
say so much.
Yeah, you say good morning. That's controversial.
So I'm saying your setup of all that you said was controversial because people are walking away with what you said by thinking then God orchestrated her to be taking that bath. God orchestrated David to be there to watch her. God orchestrated him to go and kill
that man.
So your setup said that.
Right.
Now, although you was fixing it in the body of the message,
fix it.
Your setup said God made him sin. God told him. God led him to evil.
And if that be the case, when David gets in trouble,
yes, sir,
he can say, "You orchestrated.
You orchestrated it. You did this.
You did it.
Yes,
because we know that God was angry with David. Now, even if we go with what you said, then that would mean that God could have used this as an opportune time for Uriah to die.
Sure.
Okay?
Right.
Because God's will is going to be done.
Right.
But the problem is how David did it. It caused the enemy to be able to win a battle against the people of God. And that's one of the main reasons why God was upset with David.
Because he caused the enemy to blaspheme the name of
God. You opened the door of the enemy of God to win against the people of God, and that brought a lot of anger.
Okay. Well, let me clear this up then.
Yeah.
Because I'm not saying that God made David do anything.
All right.
But what I'm saying is that it didn't take God by surprise.
Right.
Of course.
He was not taking, oh my God, David, you done so bad. Whoa, where did that come from? You're a guy after my own heart. No, I'm not saying that. Rodney is so mad. But what I'm saying is that God knew what was happening, what was going to happen, and he was going to ultimately use what David done to bring forth, because God knew that the seed had to come through Bathsheba.
That's where we have the problem.
Okay, well.
Right there.
Well, not the seed. The baby had to come through. Right.
I understand what you're saying.
And so, but God must have had a different way, because after David done it, he says, now you have given our enemies a reason to blaspheme my name. What you've done, you have caused other folks to look at it, and now they speak against me because of what you have done.
Right.
And so you're right, God was angry. But does that not eliminate the fact that God knew? Put my headphones on.
You need music for that.
Right.
You need your eyes for that.
No sign language for that.
So God knew what was going to happen, and he knew that how his will was going to be done in the earth, but David did it, I guess, the wrong way for the will to be done. I don't know.
Now you fixed it when you first said, "Hi, my name's Gibson." You fixed it. We knew who you were. Nah, that's a good comeback. Let me read messages before we go. Brother Scott says, Jacob prophesied to Judah and said that scepter shall not depart from him until Shiloh comes. After David, Judah had good and bad kings, As years went on, they would get progressively worse. God established his covenant with David and said that his kingdom will last forever. And these days, pastors long for their sons to carry on after they've passed on. However, that is not always the case. Let's not mention the Baptist congregations. Sometimes they go through pastors like they're drinking water. Okay, and she's referring to, we're supposed to be talking about this, but we'll talk about it next week in detail about pastors starting dynasties. They're wanting their dynasties to happen. Okay, that's again. This is going to be a part 2 next week. And I think Kista said, why is that people seem to only have a problem with a son following his father in church? We got to bring this stuff up.
Yeah.
This is good stuff.
Yes,
is that
well,
son
that was a problem?
Yeah, well, apparently there is in our culture. It is. If that son is smart, he better ignore daddy's call or something like that. I need to read these next because it's good stuff. Joseph Daniels says, it doesn't matter who the woman was. She represents earth and David, God. So God didn't have to orchestrate Solomon's birth. From her, his seed would grow regardless of the region planted. Look at Jesus, who is totally God's son and shares no DNA from Mary. All right, y'all can touch on this next week. This is good stuff. I gotta do a screenshot so I can remember all this stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, y'all, thanks for tuning in. Go to Spreaker.com, and hear this show. Go ahead, rewind. Be kind of rewind. Hear the beginning of the show with Andrew, so that y'all can go out there and help that family of the man who was shot. Thank God he is still yet alive. Barack Obama and Michelle, sorry, we ran out of time. We just got to get you next time. All right? See you tomorrow. Fireside Friday, I think. Not sure. Love you guys. So Walter Jones Show.
You have been listening to the Sir Walter Jones Show, where Sir Walter Jones provides you with a biblical perspective on everyday life. Stay connected to Sir Walter Jones at his website, www.sirwalterjones.com. Search The Sir Walter Jones Show on Facebook or follow on Twitter at Sir Walter's Music. Until next time, thank you for listening to The Sir Walter Jones Show with Sir Walter Jones.
UrbanBroadcastMedia.com and check out the many services Urban Broadcast Media provides. Whether it's social media, video production, radio broadcasting, or audio recording, we got you covered.
Right, Mr. Walters?